All right, so today we're recording for our Chapter 9 test review. And again, this is just going to give you a really good idea of what you need to do to prepare for your test tomorrow. All right, it's going to start off with some terms and formulas, and I designed these questions very specifically to help us focus on questions you might see on your test. Like, what are the two formulas to find circumference? All right, so you're writing down your answers. We're using our desk today as kind of a review tool. What are the two formulas to find circumference? Genevieve, can you give me one?
C equals pi d.
Perfect. C equals pi d, and we use that with diameter. What about the second one, guys? Abel?
2 times pi times r.
Perfect. 2 pi r. All right. Now, finding circumference is going to be difficult if you mess up the formula. Okay, so we did see some errors with the formula where your work looked great, but you had an area in the formula. Maybe you accidentally plugged in radius for diameter. Okay, so please just make sure you get those formulas straight. What do you call a figure that is made up of at least two or more two-dimensional figures? I just wrote 2D to kind of shorten it, but it's two-dimensional figures. What do you call that kind of figure, Faith? It is called a composite figure. Very good. Composite. Composite meaning that it's made up of more than one. We're going to see some one of those in a minute. How do you find the perimeter of a semicircle? So it's not necessarily a formula I'm looking for, but just how do you find the perimeter? It's kind of maybe a three-step process. Anybody want to walk me through that? Devin, what do you think?
You do circumference.
Yep.
And then you add. Then you divide it by 2.
Yes.
And then you add the diameter.
Yep. So find circumference, then divide by 2, then add the diameter. Okay, so what happens if they gave you radius? Do you just add the radius and call it a day? No, you got to double the radius and then add that in, because that gives you the length of that side and the perimeter of the semicircle. So that's perfect. That's great. All right. What measurement do supplementary angles add up to? David? 180. Saw you writing back there. Good job, guys. 180. And we know complementary adds up to 90. All right, so let's find the circumference and the area of the circle. So this would count as two separate questions on your test. I'm just kind of actually, between circumference and area, I believe it's 3 questions total on your test. All right, so we'll write us a little 3 up here. All right, this would represent about 3 questions on your test. Let's find the circumference and area of the circle. I'll give you guys a minute. Circumference, which formula? C equals?
D times pi.
Pi d. So C equals 3.14 times the diameter of 18. What's 3.14 times 18?
52.52.
All right, just some simple multiplication there. All right, now why did I approximate it?
Because it's not exact.
Yeah, it's not exact. Pi, anytime we're dealing with pi, it's not going to be exact. All right, now let's come over here to area. Same formula every time. Pi r squared, no matter what the problem gives me. So did the problem give me the radius? Did it give me radius?
No.
All right, so we saw this mistake a couple times yesterday on the quiz. So when you're going back to look at your quiz, trying to figure out if you missed the area problem, that's the first place I would look. Did you, I don't even remember which value I gave you, but if I gave you diameter, did you remember to half it? Area equals pi times the radius squared. So what's 9 squared?
81.
81. What's 3.14 times 81?
254.34 squared.
Okay, yeah, very good. Got to get that label. Square inches. All right, let's do the semicircle. Okay, perimeter and area of the semicircle. Okay, so perimeter is similar to circumference. All right, but then we also we walked through the steps, so we've got that last side that we do have to factor in at the end. I want you to go ahead and work through the semicircle, find the perimeter and the area. All right, so for perimeter, we go circumference first, pi d, because I'm given diameter. Okay, so that's 3.14 times my diameter of 6. Okay, then that's the full circumference, so then I have to divide that by 2. And what did you get? C equals 9.42. But that only gives me the arch. Okay, that only gave me the arch. Then what do I have to do?
Add 6.
Add 6. Okay, so then that would give me 15.42 for the perimeter. Okay, P equals. And what's my label? Meters? Okay, now I need to find the area of the semicircle. So I first am going to find the area of a full circle, pi r squared, 3.14. What's the radius?
3.
3 squared. Did everybody do 3 squared?
Yes.
Did you remember to half it? Again, that's a really common mistake that we see. So what's 3.14 times 9?
28.26.
Yes, so A is approximately 28.26. And if you don't remember to approximate tomorrow, guys, don't worry about that. I'm not going to take off for that. Okay, now I will take off for a label. Wait, did I make it?
Don't you?
Oh, yeah, I got to divide by 2, pi r squared. So it's 14.13. Yep. All right, don't forget to divide by 2. It's a semicircle. 14. You see how easy that is? I almost forgot. Meters squared. Oh, that does bring me to another point. If you find the area of a circle and you forget to divide by 2, I can still give you some partial credit there. Okay? Yeah. Yeah, because you knew to find the area, but you just forgot to divide by 2. So that's where showing your work is important. If you don't show your work, how can I give you any partial credit, even if it's a point? Right? I mean, those points add up. So every point you can get would be helpful. All right, now we're going to find the perimeter and area of this composite figure. I chose this figure for a reason. It's very similar to what you would see on your test tomorrow. All right, we have several different lengths. All right, now to find perimeter, we're just adding them all together. Okay. But there's 2 over here, this one and this one, that don't have dimensions, but I might be able to use some of the other dimensions. All right, so I'm just going to give you a minute to look at it. Go ahead and copy the figure onto your desk. Okay, and that might help you visualize it a little bit. Okay, so check it out. Okay, so this side length is 30. Well, this side length is 22, so in order for it to be the same length, where this one stops too, then this one has to be what?
8.
Has to be 8. So then 22 plus 8 will still make up the full 30. And that's actually exactly what's happening on the top as well. On the top, if I know the top is 45, and then this one is 25, what does the other one have to be?
20.
It has to be 20. All right, and again, I chose this one for a reason. You will have to do a little bit of this on the test. Do you feel like now that you've seen it, you can kind of piece it together? So when you add them all together, 30 plus 30 total, plus 45 plus 45, what do we get?
You get 150.
150. So P equals 150 centimeters. Now for the area, now that I know all the dimensions, and that's another reason you want to find perimeter first, there's actually 2 ways that you could split this off. Right? You could split it here. Oops, my line's a little off.
Yeah.
You could split it here. Ignore my crooked line. Or you could split it here, right? Either way, you're going to find the area of both rectangles and then add them together. All right, so now you're not going to split it like this. That's ridiculous, okay? But there's a couple different ways you could split these rectangles and go ahead and find the area of the composite figure. All right, so go ahead and do that, please. Either way you do it, you will get the same answer. Either way you split it. I'm going to kind of follow what y'all did, and I saw that most people split it here. All right, so now just make sure you have this little rectangle. Make sure you use the dimensions that only measure that rectangle, which would be 8 times 20, which is 160. So that's the little one. Now I come up here to the big one. And remember, on the big one, okay, what would be the full length of the rectangle?
22.
The full length? 45. What is the full width? 22. It can't be 30 because 30 included that bottom piece. Okay, so 45 times 22 is 990. Okay, so I take those two numbers. Area is 990 plus 160, which is 1150 centimeters squared. All right. Any questions on that? Any questions, guys? Okay. Now you could have split it vertically too, and you would have gotten the same answer. All right, complementary and supplementary. Tell me if these two angles are complementary, supplementary, or neither. You have 2 questions like this on your test tomorrow. You have 2, so that means this is 10 points of your test grade tomorrow. It's 1 letter grade. Okay, what's the sum, class? Everybody tell me. 104 degrees. So what's my answer? Neither. None. Okay, it's neither. Complementary needed to be 90. Supplementary needed to be 180. Now, on this next one, all right, I switched it up a little bit, okay? And again, this is aligning with what you would see tomorrow. Classify the angles and solve for x. There are 3 classifications, all right? Complementary, supplementary, or vertical. Those are the only 3 categories that have a specific total for the angle measurement or some way that I would know what it's supposed to be. So what kind of angles are these?
Supplementary.
No. What kind of angles are they? Vertical. They are opposite each other. So what do we say about vertical? If one of them is 50, the other one is 50, okay? So if these are vertical angles and one of them is 20, that means the other one has to be 20. Correct. Correct. So what number plus 2 would equal 20?
18.
X equals 18. Okay? So x equals 18. Because they are vertical, they have to be the same exact measurement. I'm about to give you another one. Okay? X equals 18 degrees. Why? Because I needed a sum over here that would make it the same angle measurement. All right, I'm about to give you another one. All right, so let me just switch this up. What if now I'm going to go the top and bottom. What if this one is 160 and this one is x minus, well, hold on. Yeah, x minus 4. X minus 4. All right, what value of x? So what kind of angles are these and what value of x? So x minus 4, all right, some number minus 4 has to equal 160. All right, this is what it would look like in an equation if you weren't doing mental math. To solve for x, you would add 4. All right, so it's got to be 4 basically on the other side. So x would have to equal 164. You will not be required to show the equation, but I wanted you to see what it would look like. if both angles are supposed to equal each other, that means x minus 4 will equal 160. X is 164. All right, who got 164? How do we do on that? Do we need another practice one on that? We got that, 164? Okay, again, 3 problems similar to this on your test tomorrow. So that would be 15 points on your test tomorrow to classify and then solve for x. All right, we've got some modeling real life here, okay? Now, there are some keywords here that hint to us what formula we need to use. The diameter of a dinner plate is 10 inches. What is the area of 4 dinner plates? I want you to look at this problem with your group mates and decide what formula you need to use to solve this problem. Diameter of a dinner plate. So what gave it away on which formula you were going to use? What gave it away? Area. So what's my formula?
A equals pi r squared.
Okay, pi r squared. So A equals 3.14 times the radius, which I'm really proud of you guys walking around. I think everybody put in 5. That's awesome. So you recognize that 3.14 times 25 was 78.5, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so 78.5, but that's not the answer.
That's only for one plate.
That's only for how many plates?
1.
1. So what did you multiply it by?
4.
4 to get 314 inches squared would be the total for 4 dinner plates. Okay, so now on the next one it says the radius of a placemat, like a dinner, like on a table, a placemat, is 4 inches. What is the circumference of 2 placemats? Well, I used 2 pi r. Circumference equals 2 pi r. So what does that mean? Double the radius, which is 8. Okay, so 3.14 times 8 gives me the 25.12. But that's only 1 placemat, so what do I need to do?
Add 25 times 2.
Yeah, multiply it by 2 to get 50.24 inches.
Dang it.
Okay. All right, 50.24. Wait, is it inches? Circumference. Okay, very good. All right, 2 review questions on your test tomorrow. Very, very specific. So if I'm telling you compound inequality and simplify, that's what's the review questions. Okay, so let's solve the compound inequality. You will not have to graph it. You will only solve it because I forgot to write graph. So we will only solve the compound and then simplify the expression. All right, what do I need to do across the whole inequality? Divide by 4. I identified that because what would it take for the middle term to get x by itself? I need to divide by 4, which means I divide outside values by 4 as well. And I get 2 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 4. Now, if you were to graph this, is it open dots or closed? Closed. All right, 2 and 4, and then you would do like a 3 in between. All right, now on the last one, this minus sign kind of throws a wrench in things. So you guys remember what to do. Don't say it out loud. Go ahead and finish simplifying this expression. Okay, so what needs to happen to that subtraction sign?
It needs to be a plus sign.
Plus sign, and then that makes it minus 2x and plus 5. All my signs reverse. So what's negative 2x minus 2x? Negative 4x. And what's negative 4 plus 5?
Positive 1.
Plus 1, okay? All right, so I'm going to give you a hint on your bonus, okay? For your bonus tomorrow, it's going to be similar to your 9.5 homework, number 32.
Wait, what was number? Oh yeah, number 32 is the one.
The one that was real, like, kind of crazy.
Yeah, I'm not doing the
Okay, and it will say something like solve for x, okay? So 9.5, number 32, practice a few of those in that section, okay, solving for x. If you understand that, it's everything you need to know for your test tomorrow.